Welcome to Expressions. I'm your host, Zoe Olivia, guide to the growth-minded truth seeker, leader of full life transformations, and a voice for peace, wellness, abundance, and soul-based, truth-based self-love. This show is for out-of-the-box thinkers, and every episode is designed to call you forward into your greatness, your self-acceptance, and your higher purpose, as well as supporting you in your awakening journey. May you feel energized, expanded, inspired, safe, and free. Thank you for joining me. Let's go. Expressions family! You guys, as I was recording this, true story, I am standing here. It is a gorgeous Florida breezy day. It's like cold for Miami. One of those days I'm wearing a fucking turtleneck. I got little booties. I don't know if you can hear me stomping in them. And right before I recorded, this is an impromptu pod. Like, I knew I was going to record one this week. What you're hearing, I'm just riffing right now. I'm flowing. I know where I'm going, and I'm also flowing along the way. And as I was getting on to record, I swear I was listening to my intro, and I was like, like singing along and dancing to it. And I'm just like, oh, this is the best feeling in the world. So I intend that you take this energy, this love with you in whatever is going on. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at the time and there's something really exciting happening, and I'll tell you about it. As we move. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all your love, your presence. I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to say it likely again in case I don't. If you are not already part of my love letters community, which is my email list, right? I call it love letters because I like to send you love letters. I like to send you love and light and value into your inbox. My love letter community also is the first to know absolutely everything. They're the first to know about things that I'm launching, my programs, my offerings, premium pricing, if that's available, bonuses, giveaways. They always know first, and that's literally actually what's happening in 3 minutes, which is really cool because you guys are going to hear me like get excited live on the podcast about it. So if you're not already part of the love letter community, it's completely free. I'm going to link in the show notes. Just drop your email. Literally drop your email. What you're signing up for is getting value from me. A lot of the times it's like stream of consciousness, train of thought, like stand-up comedy bits mixed with motivational, inspirational, ancient wisdom. I've been getting some incredible love from you guys on those emails. So, oh my God, I'm watching the clock now. Like, oh, I'm so excited. I'll tell you a little bit about what happens as we go down. It's like I'm going to be starting with one topic and then I'm going to cut into the next topic with what's going on. But anyways, I really want to talk to you guys today about investing. Ooh, I'm like looking at the clock now. I'm sweating. It's 2 minutes. Oh my God. You guys are coming with me on a very live journey of something that's about to be released, and you're going to like hear what it's like when I celebrate something. You're going to hear a little sneak peek into my personality, as if you don't already know enough. But there's something, okay, screw it. We're going to just start with this. There's something that's dropping in less than 120 seconds that is so sacred and beautiful and important and impactful, and something that I have made for you with all of the love in the world, literally all of the love from my soul, from my heart, my intuitive gifts, everything that comes through me as a facilitator. And it's something that a lot of you guys know about, something that I have been talking about recently. I'm like buying time now as we get closer and closer. Oh my God, 60 seconds. Okay. I did not know when I signed on to record this podcast that this is what I was going to be doing with the beginning of it. And I think that's organic and amazing. So in less than 60 seconds, something is coming through to my love letters community. which has a tremendous amount of significance for me and for you. And I really feel called with the probably 30, 40 seconds that's left to say a prayer. So here we go. God, source, universe, thank you so much for the blessing of this life. Thank you so much for having me in the capacity to be able to tap into my gifts and to share these gifts and to hold space for the most incredible dream clients in the world who show up for themselves and for others. May you hold this offering in the highest love. Bless every soul that's resonant and excited about this offer. Give them everything that they're calling in and more. I leave this in your hands. I surrender this completely to you. Allow me to continue to show up in the highest alignment in my thoughts, in my actions, in my behaviors. I trust you so much. I love you so much. Amen. And my friends, just like that, the email, right as I'm opening my eyes from the prayer, the email has gone out. The garden is officially open. The gates are open, my friends. Love Letter Community is the first one. I have not posted this on my socials. Likely by the time that you hear this, I will have already posted it on my Instagram. I really wanted to send it out to my love letters first as a thank you, just for being part of my world, right? And for coming with me through life. And so I sent them what I've been working on, which is this incredible, like, all the secrets revealed, not all of them, because you know how I do it, but it's like quite a few of the next level steps for the garden with the full aesthetic and the feeling tone of what you have waiting for you. So it's not too late to get on the Love Letters Community. I am going to link what I sent out in the show notes so you can be part of this experience, although you're not experiencing it live with them. I'm like, oh my God, I want to check my email. I'm going to throw up. I'm so excited. But yeah, I wanted to say that was cool. I did not see that going that way in the beginning of the podcast. And you guys are able also to see how important and significant and ceremonious things like this are to me, how sacred I hold them. And I really live life like this. It's not just like when I have a product or a service, ask my client, ask my friends, ask my family, we'll be walking through and I'm like, let's pray. What are we celebrating right now? What's going on? How beautiful is life? And so I'm cool. I'm glad. I love that just happened. So you could experience that live with me. And I am now in this reverent, I started woo, dancing to my song. And now I'm in this reverent stillness because this is such an important sacred moment. This is just the beginning. The seeds for the garden were planted literally as an idea from the ether, from the void, from my imagination, my intuitiveness, the work I've done in with my spiritual team and guides and everything. From that, right? From the void into form, literally into birth, into I'm holding you and I'm ready and let's go and let's do this, and just excitement and the joy and knowing that the way that we're going to have this conversation a year from now and the way the garden will have evolved and grown and the way people will be seeing transformation and showing up for themselves, it's wow, this is such a moment. Woo, I got to remember that this happened in this episode because I'm going to be referring to this for quite a while. So, thank you for tuning in on that moment with me. I am going to take some time after I record this podcast to really sit in stillness and in gratitude for that. So with that being complete, breathing in, releasing. Whew. My friends, what an incredible, incredible day it is. I invite you to share this energy, this resonance with me. I just want to dance again. I just want to celebrate. And I want to talk to you today about this topic that's been coming through me, investing. Okay, specifically, I feel really called to share my story about investments I've made in mentorship. I'll do a little teaser on what I consider investing to be, because I know you guys have heard me talk about it before, but I want to bring it back up, and then I'll share my specific story about investments I've made and the whole nervous system extravaganza with that, okay? So first, starting with investing. So the way I see investing in general, I'm not just talking about financially, even though I'm going to go there. Anything, just in general, the word investment, right? just so we're clear, everything is an investment. Everything is an investment. You looking at your phone, you checking your email, you eating that thing, you watching that thing, you going for a walk. All of that is an investment of your attention, your time, your energy. Yes, your financial resources. Everything is an investment. Whether you're consciously like, hey, this is an investment or not. Okay? Everything you invest in, this is just law, right? This is just like facts that you have to know from the jump. Everything you invest in, financially or otherwise, has a return. Everything that you're putting your attention on, your energy on, right? We have a certain capacity of that per day, whatever you're investing in, you're going to have a return. Whether or not you see, returns that you're excited about that are amplifying your growth in certain ways or not is directly related to the investments that you're making, where you're spending your creative energy, your thoughts, your attention, like I'm saying, okay? That's how I see investment, okay? Now let's bring it to the financial part of the conversation, okay? So I really want to share a story about my own journey with investing financially, like money, specifically as it relates to in mentorship, in quote unquote coaching, in education, in all of that, okay? So I am someone, even before my deep spiritual journey began, I also recognize you may hear a little break in this when I delete something in a little bit, but we have some time before we get there. So in general, I am a person who has always been a fan of like education in general. Before I went into my spiritual journey, the education that I participated in was rather traditional, right? I went to school, I went to high school, I went to college, like those kind of programs. Those were the things that I was a part of, that I believed in, academia, right? This scholarly way of life. And then after college, in certain jobs that I had in the corporate space, if there was like a program that I had to do for like a higher education thing, I was like into that. I was a striver. I've always considered myself, not considered, there's a whole other story on this, but it's like I've always been a very excellent student to the detriment of my, not detriment, but to points where I've brought myself to the brink of like severe anxiety and depression in my life because of how important and how much I conflated that with my value. I say all that to say, the student role is something that has always worked for me. And so I have really graduated in, especially as the spiritual conversation came about, in discerning the teachers that are going to guide me on my journey. Okay, so enter in, you guys know relatively my journey. I started as a personal trainer, and from there went into more of the like virtual mentorship space, coaching, quote unquote life coaching. These are like terms that you'll hear. I'm not super into like normalized terms, but just so you can kind of understand like where I went with my career. And I'm like, am I going to pause? Let me just pause really quick. Okay. Cool. I had to delete something. I love how raw my podcast is. I'm like, I'm going to leave that in there. I had to delete something that you would hear a music track overlapping. So anyways, as I was saying, as I started my journey, I really believed in investing in people and in programs that had accomplished, quote unquote, what I wanted to accomplish, right? So I hired my first business coach. And at the time, I didn't understand really what any of this was. I didn't know what a business coach was. I didn't even know that I had a business because I was pretty casual about it. I'm like, I just love teaching people how to work out and like charging for it and making money in packages. But I didn't really have a structure or a strategy. I was just kind of like radiating and like, who wants to work out? And so that's always kind of been me, right? Which is cool. And, right? It's like, there are times when you seek support, okay? So hired my first business coach. Since then, I've hired quite a few different types of courses. I have invested, not hired, well, both, right? I've invested by now up to 6 figures in the past literally 2 years in one-on-one mentorship, whether it was for my business, personal, professional, admin, sales, it really like business development, personal development, professional development. I'm a huge proponent of this. I'm a huge proponent, especially like now I'll veer for a second away and then I'll bring it back. Like, you guys know that I dance and like I'm a salsa dancer. And how have I started to learn salsa? Like, I've been taking classes from people who are professional salsa dancers, right? I could absolutely be like, and there's definitely spaces in the salsa world where I'm like, I'm just going to show up and figure it out. And that has worked 100%. Absolutely tripped and stumbled at least 20 times as I did that. It's cool. There's a way to learn like that. And I remember in my personal journey and the love and the relationship I have with salsa dancing as a modality, I came to a decision in my heart where I'm like, I want to advance consistently and fucking rapidly. It was like you can hear it in my, like, whoever just spoke right there, that's Salsa Zoe. She's like, this is like all systems go for this. All systems go. Does it mean that, I'm not scared and I don't go into certain classes, especially when I go up in a level, and I'm not like pooping my diaper and absolutely like completely humbled because we just learned a new trick and I'm like, what on planet Earth is that? What is that? And like all, stories come up of like, oh, inadequacy or whatever. Absolutely. And I'm in the observer, the witness, the center, the Sherlock Holmes enough in my life to be like, this is what I signed up for. And I'm zoomed out enough from the story to actually believe that if I don't do 5 turns in a row, that means I'm a failure of a dancer. Because there was a space in my life, actually, dancing, not salsa, but growing up dancing, where I like, if I didn't do the thing, I was like, well, I guess I'm just a failure then, And so now, and like props to the growth that I've done and that I, humbly and lovingly invite you to do within yourself. It's like, this is part of the journey of mastering something, mastering a craft. Okay, so bringing that all back into mentorship, I've always been someone who has invested in different types of leaders, titans of industry, and whatever it is that I want to learn, because I'm like, let's just mirror neuron this shit. Let's just learn, right? From the greats. Let's just save the time. I know you hear this if you're any, remotely percentage spiritual, where they talk about collapsing time, and we can get into that and what it means in quantum physics. But all that means, spark note, spoiler alert, is that time is not real at all, right? And you hear maybe in society of like, well, this usually takes this many years, and this statistically speaking, la 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 la. And yes, absolutely, statistically speaking. And if you're resonating with me, my friends, if you don't already know this, spoiler alert, you're not here to be one of the fucking statistics. Hear me when I say that. Hear me loud and clear. You already know, and I'm going to bring it back up. You're not listening to this because you're someone who's like, yeah, what do the statistics say? Because that's where I fall. You're someone who's like, all right, I'm a pioneer. I'm on the front end. I'm a philosopher. I'm a truth seeker. And just because that applies to other people, cool. Hats off to you. I'm going to do this my way in my time. And that's what it means to collapse time. It doesn't have to take a year. If you look at my growth, my financial growth, my personal growth, my spiritual growth on any kind of statistic calendar, you'll be like, what on planet fuck? And you're going to hear me say so many times, it's part of my brand, it's part of my movement, it's part of what I want for you. Giving up this relationship with logical sense will make it so much easier on your nervous system as you move through life. Okay, it's like it doesn't have to make logical sense. It just is. Like, time doesn't exist, we collapse time. So that's one of the things that has always motivated me when investing in mentorship. Okay, I also want to be transparent about, oh God, so many things. I could go on forever. I'm like looking at the time. I'm like, I could talk about this all day. I want to talk about, I don't know where you are listening to this on your mentorship investment journey. I hear people in the industry, clients, other mentors, whatever, people who talk about quote unquote good and quote unquote bad investments, especially in like a person or in another coach or like a past experience or way they feel like they've been burned or like, whatever. Okay, in general, you're going to hear me say that I don't believe in good and bad. I honestly just believe in good if I had to pick one. It's like, right? And I have been a person, I'm going to be 100% straight up like always, who I very much, not even that long ago, was holding on to resentments and like well, if this mentor had just showed up like this, or if this program had just given me this, because I purchased this because I thought I was going to get these results. I spent, my friends, like 5 figures easily on, programs, and like that for a program for me is like, yeah, that's like standard price. I'm used to that. My nervous system, it wasn't always regulated to that, right? It took me actually doing it. But my nervous system is like regulated to that being, normal. And some of the resentment that I've held, I almost said against, but not against, like in relation to those experiences, like, yeah, had this person not like actually delivered this, and I want the ROI to be this exactly. Okay. Yes, there is a certain degree of validity to like you want to get the results that you're paying for, and I own that. And also, what is it doing for me to hold on to something instead of actually seeing the truth as the witness, the observer, the center, the Sherlock Holmes of my life, and saying, you know what? I invested in this person and this program because I wanted X result, and the result I got was Y. And you know what rocks about that? You know why I'm excited about that? Is because Y was the actual result that I was called to receive. Thank you, source, right? Thank you, source, because I thought I wanted X, because X is like yummy and fuzzy and abundant, and maybe it's a financial ROI, maybe it's, some new level of consciousness cracked, whatever. The result I actually got was Y, and Y was the result that I was meant to receive. Okay, I invested in, I'll give you an example of this. In my life, I've invested in several sales programs. I've been very highly trained in sales, quote unquote. The last sales program I invested in was a program where they're like, yeah, you get like this much financial ROI. And so for me, that was a great incentive. I'm like, cool, I'm a business person. We love money over here, la, la, la. And not only did I not directly see that financial ROI, I felt sick in my body from some of the things that I was learning. Like I felt sick in my body, and I just paused it. Can you guys, I love how I asked, can you hear this, as if it's live? I just paused it. Oh man, I gotta pause it again, 1 second. Okay, cool. I love how you're here. I'm not even going to take any of this out. You guys can hear the rawness of this. I had the audio dials down, so had I kept talking, it would have just like randomly muted me, and you wouldn't have heard the rest of the story. So essentially what I was talking about was these programs, like some of the things I was learning, and my mind, right, was in it. My mind is like, okay, this methodology that this person is teaching makes logical sense. My body was sick. My body was like, this is not you. This is not you. Maybe it works for this person, and there was like 40 people on this one course that I'm thinking of. And there's been multiple situations like this, right, that I've been in business and sales and different types of modalities that I've learned. And my body was like, this is not it. And my mind couldn't make sense of what was going on in my body, because my mind was like, it makes sense. Like, it's come on, just hop on here. And my body was like, just hard no, hard no, hard no, hard no. And then my mind was like, come on, you've invested 5 figures in this. Like, you got to show up, you got to do the work. And my body's like, I don't care if I invested 6 figures in this. And then when I finally leaned into my body, I breathed a sigh of relief, because I'm like, oh my God, it wasn't for me, right? And then introduce anger, because the mind was like, well, you invested 5 figures in this, and now blah, 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 and like, come on, the ROI, whatever. ROI, also, I'm assuming you guys know what ROI is, but ROI is return on investment. Like in this instance, I'm referring to financial return on investment, okay? So that's what was going on inside of me. And then I held this anger. I swear I held this anger at myself, at the program, at everything. I was very angry. And then I just had this moment where I'm like, holy shit, I understand the lesson. You know why that investment was worth every fucking penny? Because it got me to move in certain ways that I wasn't in my business. It got me uncomfortable in ways that I would have never allowed myself to get back in certain ways to my business. So I wanted the result to be X so bad. I wanted this to be like the dream program, and like the white horse comes in and we're like, I don't know why I visualize my hair is like blowing in the wind, and all of a sudden I'm 90 feet tall and everything's cool. And it's like, that's the result that I imagined. The result I actually received was Y. And I was angry because I'm like, wait a second, I'm actually 2 feet tall or whatever it felt like in my body. And then the moment of centering, of realizing that that's actually the true X. I actually am 90 feet tall, because what I was meant to learn was to trust my own fucking self. And that's worth 100 times what I invested. Do I have any regrets about that investment? No. Okay, no. And I have so many of stories like that, of things that somebody would call, if you don't listen to this and don't frame your mind in this way, a quote unquote bad investment, or I lost money, quote unquote. No. No. What did you learn? What did you gain? Right? Or this mentor burned me in this way. And I have been a person who's talked like that straight up. I have been a person who's like, this coach did this to me. What? Right? I wasn't clearly on the levels of consciousness and responsibility that I'm on now. And I wasn't looking at it from, why results are actually the results I'm meant to have. So now that whole perspective shift has been so liberating for me when I invest in things, because I'm like, yes, I'm going in consciously with wanting these X results. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm investing. This is why I'm trusting. This is why I'm expending my energy, time, attention, resources in this product, person, program, whatever it is. And if the results are Y, you bet your bottom goddamn motherfucking dollar that I'm going to look at Y and be like, awesome. Wow, even bigger than I would have thought, right? Can we talk about how epic what I just talked about was? For me to come home to the realization that the way somebody else teaches sales isn't how I sell things, doesn't feel aligned with me. Sales is so beautiful and it's so sacred, and it's literally walking someone home. And, all the things that I've experienced in relation to sales and investing, and the way that my nervous system has flared up and thrown up and exploded in a million different directions, to being like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I still do feel scared, and that's another thing that I get to talk about, and I want to talk about with you, is this concept of investing, right? And this goes into the relationship we have with money and finances and sharing and giving and all that. Wow. When I first started investing, and even now, because I'm constantly leveling up, I was just I really thought if you had asked me, okay, this is $10, I thought you were asking me to give my arm, my arm. I'm like, what? How will I move through life if you have my arm? I really saw it as something that was tremendously based in scarcity. And to a certain extent, I'm going to be honest, as someone who I'm 3 years into business, and this is a journey for me that I'm committed to. I'm going to be making bigger investments. I already am, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I'm working in now. I still feel the stretch. I still feel the scarcity, who's whatever she says of well, are you going to make that back? And what does that mean? Are you going to die? Are you going to live on? Okay, cool. You can be here. You're not telling me the truth, right? That's not actually how we're going to end up. And you could be here, right? And so I want to be as real as possible and authentic and vulnerable in these shares with you guys, because it's I don't know who this is meant to touch. I don't know who's going to hear this and what value is going to come through, but I really do want to share how it's moved through my journey, and what I have understood also about investing, especially in the space that I am in my life. So whether you're listening to this and you have a company, whether you are a coach or a mentor or a leader or not, right? Maybe you're a leader of your household and your children, or whatever it is, however you show up in your life. The reason that I choose to consciously, continuously invest in things that stretch me is because I know that everyone who is in my presence, right? The man who just delivered me the mail, and a client, and my mom, all of those people are going to benefit from the liberation that I'm doing on my soul and in my life. You're going to feel, I'm sure you can already feel but let's put this to the test, right? Go listen to my first podcast episode. I think I'm only in the fucking 30s, you guys. I'm not even sure what episode this is. Go listen to episode number 1 and listen to this one. Feel the difference. Feel the difference. I almost feel the difference. And that's why I leave all the stuff up, because feel the difference. And the person that you're listening to today, by the time you listen to this, I'm already on my next evolved version, right? So when we invest, especially when we invest in ourselves, and then when we invest in other people who are investing in themselves, you get everything that they're liberating from and moving through. You get that. You experience that too. And so that has come so much more, especially this year, into my decision making and my decision to lean into the fear, lean into the scarcity, lean into the stretchiness, lean into the investing, because I'm like, this is bigger than me. Yes, I am going to grow in certain ways, and I'm going to be able to show up better for you, right? In higher truth, in higher alignment, in higher service, in higher impact. I will be able to be that person. And so I have some incredible things in the works that I have chosen to invest in, and I'm going to leave it to as a bit of a surprise. You know how I do it, also on the theme of the garden. And I just want you to feel it. I just want you to see it, right? You're already seeing the shift. I'm sure you've already seen the shift. I used to have like 36-inch blonde, I'm talking like white blonde extensions. And that was one version of me, right? From her to now. And then I had a really blunt cut, like very blunt haircut, also kind of a shade of and I don't know why I'm just talking aesthetically, but it's like these were like different avatars, different characters of me, and now you're in this like new version of me who's right now experiencing her right now, the art that I'm making of me right now, who's not going to be who I am in a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, and I already have a vision of who she is. Hell yeah to everybody who's going to come with me starting right now, because you're going to be in life with her, right? So woo, the sun has fired me up. I love this episode. I love all the episodes. And I really just, wherever you are on your journey, I want to continue to inspire you, to activate you, to allow you to empower yourself and to see that investing, number one, is a responsibility. I'm not just talking about financial right now, because you already know that everything you're doing is investing in yourself in some way. Even if you're like, I'm going to cook myself breakfast, that's an investment of your time. Right? You're already responsible for the things that you're investing in your own life. And then when it comes down to financially, what are you even spending your freaking money on? I remember the first time I looked into my spending behaviors. Has anybody had that conversation recently? First time I really looked at my transactions, sat down with myself and had this, I think I had 6 bars of chocolate before I sat down and was like, let's look in the mirror at all of the things I bought. And I looked, it was jarring, the things I was like, what am I even spending money? Just freaking liabilities, just things that didn't even make sense, and quantities of things that were just not, listen, results why, like I just said. And also there were definitely adjustments I could make to make cleaner investments, things that actually would have returns aligned with who I want to be, right? So I really inspire you. I really intend to inspire you, intend to activate you, for you to hear me when I say that this can be a really beautiful process. And love yourself, catch yourself when you start telling stories that your fear stories are true, right? If I'm like, oh, this is, scary and stretchy and I have to take a credit card, you're going to hear me. I am somebody who has used credit cards and leverages debt, and I've made investments while I do carry debt, all of the things. And let's talk about it. If this is something that is something that, calls to you to talk about, reach out to me and be like, yes, let's talk more about this, because we got to talk about it, And so allow yourself to understand that the fear stories of maybe when it's time or whatever is going to keep you at the same level you're at. Allow that to not be the driving voice in your life, because let me tell you, that's not the liberation voice. Your fear voice and your liberation voice are not the same voice. And wherever you are in your journey, it's you get to do the work of understanding, where is the liberation voice? Where is the intuitive voice? Where's the heart voice? Where's the soul voice? Who's that? How can I crank up the volume on that and then turn down the fear voice? Still feel the fear, right? I just made an investment last week. And I was like, oh, actually, I was pretty excited about that one. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm looking into some for this week. I'm looking into 5 and more figure investments into things, and everything's whoa, feeling a little bit curly. Also, I'm gonna figure it out, and so are you, right? And so this is an exercise in trusting of ourselves, in trusting of the liberation voice, and trusting of the voice that's I'm really not here to play small. I'm here to grow. I'm here to see what this has to show me, right? And so all of the things that you're waiting for is on the other side of that, on making those stretchy, scary movements, kind of like how you always hear me talk about the cold plunge. And I love the cold plunge as a a thing to do, a modality, a way of understanding life. And I've told this story before, like when I led the most recent cold plunge immersion that I hosted, we're all walking to the cold plunge, right? There's people who have done this before. There's people who have never submerged in a 20-degree water tub before, right? And we're all walking there. People are shaking and scared because their mind is like, well, we're going to just die in here. This is like a Russian winter, like all the stories that the mind is telling. Or you get in and then your hand shakes and you're like, well, I guess I'm going to have to chop it off. Like, right? Let the story be there, and then you stay in the fucking cold plunge. Like, that's the whole instruction of the cold plunge. You stay in the cold plunge, right? And then your mind is like, oh, I'm still here. I'm still good. I'm still alive. This is the point. So train yourself to do all of this. I am a person who does this. I'm a resource that you can contact. Like, surround yourself also with people who live like this, because if you don't, right, who's even in your circle? Oh, my beautiful, lovely accountant is calling me. Hello, Angel. Anyways, wrapping it up, I do want to start to wrap it up for you guys and motivate you, send you so much love, and whatever it is, whatever that next stretch is, look into it with eyes wide open, arms wide open, heart wide open, and be like, how is this going to grow me? How can I walk into this wanting results X and be totally cool and chill and content with results Y, because I know results Y is also teaching me something. Okay, so, I loved this episode. I love the process of recording this. I love that you guys celebrated with me the email, the love letter launch of the garden. I am shining. I am just radiating pure excitement and happiness. Whoa! Oh, my accountant is calling me again, and I love her. So, how do I want to leave this? Reminding you that you are loved, that you are important, that you matter. I love you very much. I really do. I love you very much. I'm going to leave the garden content in the show notes. I'm going to leave the garden content. I'm going to leave the love letter content in general. Drop your email in love letters. Just because it's free, you're going to be in there and you're going to just get value. Like, you're literally going to get light and love into your email inbox. Read it, don't read it. It's the intention of it. You're also going to get all the giveaways, secret bonuses, surprises. You're just going to be in the loop. So that's first order of business. Second, you're going to see all the beauty that is the garden in its new aesthetic, incredible format. So I intend that you love it. I intend that you step into it. There's also asking you shall receive is the theme of that. There is a VIP option for the garden. There is a VIP option that I'm keeping for at least the first 3 to 6 months. And that will have an unheard of premium pricing for, you'll get one little session a month. So there's so much value in the garden. I don't even want to spoil having it all here in the podcast. There's so much value in the garden. Go check it out. Join us. Get ready for the best freaking year of your life, because we're going all year in the garden starting in March of 24. We're going all year. I think I told you about this. Maybe I didn't, because why not just drop even more epicness on the pod? I know I dropped it for my love letters community. Every year in the garden, we have a theme, right? A special theme. Drum roll. This year's theme in the garden, the animal queendom, baby. The fucking animal queendom. When this came through, I remember it was 3 a.m, and I really wanted to sleep, and it came through, and I said, all right, here we go. Boom, animal queendom. Animal queendom. And then every month, we're going to be choosing a specific animal. I already know month 1. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I decided it's going to be a surprise. You're going to find out on call 1. We're going to examine, study one animal, and then that month, we're going to be doing practices to embody the sacredness, the femininity of that animal in our life, to supercharge our manifestations and our abundance. So, can you tell that I'm in love with what I do? Anyways, I'm sending you guys love. Hop in love letters, look at garden, and just know that I love you. Just know that you are loved. Know that you're held, you're supported. Do the scary thing, do the expansive thing, do the liberating thing. Surround yourself with people who are doing the same, okay? I love you. Have a beautiful day.